Goon Squad. Goon Squad. Goon fam, what's good? I'm here with the Goon Squad, Jono and Doobie.
What's up?
It's watered down today, but it's a good one.
Yes, it's a good result. I think, let's first put it this way: we dominated that whole game. But full credit, I think Chelsea's backline, they were very good. Thiago Silva, I mean, what a player. I mean, he kept things under wraps. He's a very clever player. Some of the fouls he committed, it's very, very clever. But I mean, we've got to recognise he's a fantastic player. I think, like we said just now,
Corners were tough. We were lucky to get that goal.
But I think Saliba and Gabriel, they did very well. I called the Gabriel goal from the corner.
Yeah, you did.
I said he was bound to have it, but I mean, it was just. I mean, there's too many players that performed so well to actually pick a player.
Aspilicueta is a dirty bitch. Fuck him.
All of them.
Fuck all of them, bro.
But the game, it was a bit of a stalemate-ish at times, But did it take a goal like Gabriel to score it because of the type of game it was?
I think the thing is, the problem I think I would have with Gabriel Jesus is too often he stays outside the box. He just needs to get in the box a few times. I mean, he needs to trust Odegaard, Martinelli and Saka to get that ball in for him. So quite often Martinelli, he had Aspilicueta on toast so many times. He gets to the byline, there's not really options. So I mean, for me, I love Gabriel Jesus. Even though he's not scoring, I think he's the reason why we're top of the table at the moment. Anybody who goes against that he's not a good player, or we need to get another striker, I mean, that's completely unfounded. So for me, I think, in the build-up play, he's fantastic, but I think he just needs that goal. When he gets that goal, he'll get in the box a bit more.
Maybe he's doing a bit too much outside the box. He should just stick to that. But his work rate kind of what gives us what he needs.
What he can do.
He's a defensive fucking nightmare. Put it that way. I mean, like, when he gets the ball, his decision making at that point, he's close, like, footwork. I mean, that's like Messi almost. Like, how he can get past players. At the same time, he's got the vision to put other players into the box. I feel like, today, Saka, yeah, he was good, but Cucurella really contained him. I mean, like, look, at times, yes, Cucurella was a dirty ass fucking bitch, but, like, look, you have to give credit where credit's due. He did contain him well.
Yep.
Look, the entire defensive line was pretty fucking good, I'm not gonna lie.
They held their line, they were compact as well.
That's the problem. It's like they had 13 players behind the fucking ball at all times in the first half. But when they realized, like, how the fuck can you perform like that at home against the shit club Arsenal? Top of the fucking league, son! You know what I'm saying? But anyway, like, Thomas Partey, that man deserves man of the match for fucking days. Like, look, fair enough, we can't look at the assists or the goals, but at this point, I mean, for fuck's sakes, every time he gets the ball, he's the only player who's not pressed. Why? It's because every time he gets the ball, they know whether they press him or not, he's just going to make brilliant decisions in general.
But going in on that, I think the thing that we've really not even picked up on in this game, you got to say that front four of ours, the pressing was something else. You could see in end of the first half, beginning of the second half, even later in the second half, they weren't even playing out the back. They were playing the long balls. And that's where Saliba, Gabriel, Partey, everyone was cleaning up very nicely. So the thing is, the fact that you're going to get a team who's playing three at the back, and I mean, you play three at the back to get that dominance, to get that ball playing ability out. We shut that down so well. I mean, it's to do that for a full 90 minutes as well. I think we've had tougher tests against Leeds. Leeds played out against us so well, considering, and we pressed quite high against Leeds, and I'll say they played out better than Chelsea have today.
Is this going forward? Is this how we handle the back kind of three? Is this the way we should play?
It has. I think the thing is, at the end of the day, we have to acknowledge it's a lucky goal. In a way, it's a lucky goal. We need to break down teams better than. So, and the thing is that's what City can do, is they can break these teams down, and that's what we need to start doing. I mean, there were chances, but I mean, at the end, if you could point out a clear-cut chance we actually had, it's difficult. We were the best team by a country mile, but we're just in that final third. That's where Jesus just needs to get that goal just in him, and then we're going to be backfiring.
But then again, if you look at Chelsea's defense, I mean, fuck, they've been doing really well. It's very difficult in those sort of situations to try and break down a team that has so many players behind the ball, where all of a sudden, this is just the first half, for example. where they weren't even looking at attacking at that point. It was just like hit and hope for a counter attack. But I mean, the way we handled the ball in the back, it was ridiculous. I was
that
shocked.
build-up play was insane.
For
I thought you were going to
fuck's
scream the guy's
sake.
name.
Who? Oh, which one?
Saliba.
Yeah, the Rolls Royce of a
Rolls
defender.
Royce.
For fuck's sakes. But not even just the defensive part. I mean, like, under so much pressure to be able to take the ball tiki-taka the way out there. Nah, and so confidently. Dude, that is something different. And you know what? I'm not saying, hey, we're going to win the league, because that's a bit of a stretch right now with 13 games in. But for fuck's sakes, dude.
Playing some good football.
Fuck United!
They're playing with my heart. Arsenal's playing with my heart. Another thing I must say, a big shout out to Granit Xhaka at the end there.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 minutes at a time, that can put a lot of pressure on
Nah, you should have punched him. You
No,
should
no,
have
no.
fucking punched
But the
him
thing
in
is,
the face.
I mean, it's an unseen thing that many people won't pick up, but it's the fact that just that little scrap at the end, just it breaks everything down. It puts Chelsea in that mentality that now they're frustrated.
And then
they're
after-
struggling to play out from there. So I think that was like, what, 92nd, 93rd minute?
Yeah.
And I think that got into Chelsea's heads. So I think, you know, and you need that guy who's going to come in and that, I mean, most players, you're just thinking, well, I just want to defend.
Yeah, yeah.
Xhaka got in there and I mean, it's not clean, it's not nice. I'd hate it if it was
But he
against
likes that, he
Arsenal.
likes that.
But the thing is, that for me, from that point on, we knew we were clear. Because it frustrated Chelsea. I know it's a little tough at the end, and Chelsea are upset because they want to continue playing. But the fact that he broke things up like that, I mean, it's off the field. But I mean, you have that player who he knew what he was doing. You could see he's smiling there at Chalobah.
yeah.
He's smiling. He knows. He's like, you know, I've got into your heads. And at the end of the day, you need a player like
It's
that.
crazy where he's getting into other people's
Yeah,
heads
it's crazy.
as opposed to the
A year
wrong
or two ago, nobody would have
Yeah.
been saying anything about Xhaka.
Yeah.
So I think.
But like in this performance, being as how deep that they were and what they played and how, do you think this is actually a bigger win than we really
It's a
making?
massive
Oh,
win.
it's a fucking
what I mean?
massive
At
win.
Stamford
At
Bridge.
the bridge.
Yeah, so I think to myself, if you look back at the last 10 years, what's the most memorable ones we can think of? I can remember Van Persie grabbing a
Persie.
hat-trick at Stamford
I
Bridge.
think last season's one.
Last season, but I mean, like, when was the last time we went to Stamford Bridge
And
we
dominated.
put our foot
Yeah.
down and we were the team.
Dominated them.
And that was Van
Before
Persie with a
Mourinho's
hat-trick,
time.
and there was Walcott, and I don't remember who scored the fifth, but it was 5-3 when we beat Chelsea.
But I mean, Aubameyang got subbed off. That's all we needed. You know, fuck him. Listen, he went to
did us
Barca.
dirty.
He did dead there.
the
He
thing
went
is-
to Chelsea. He's still dead, bro. You can't come here with the whole fucking attitude of like, you know what? It was the right. I needed to be a little booze. Maybe you can't say that online, but a fucking booze. At that point, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck him. I'm very happy he was sour on the bench. And fuck Broa as well. Who the fuck is that guy?
No, but I must say, the
kid.
thing as an Arsenal fan, me coming into the game, as soon as I saw Aubameyang in the lineup, as an Arsenal fan, you know what he's going to come with.
Yes.
I mean, I mean, we saw him.
And we
play-
know his weaknesses.
No, but we were frustrated with him so long because he wasn't going in for the press.
Yeah.
He was lazy on the press.
but now it was beautiful.
and that's why I say with Jesus, you're getting a completely different player.
wow.
He's not looking at getting in behind the defense. He's looking at pressing the ball, winning the ball high, getting into the build-up. That's like the complete opposite of Aubameyang. And that's what I've been shouting for since Aubameyang was, since he signed his contract. I can't lie, Aubameyang beforehand, he's done a lot for us, and I loved him. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not playing with your heart on your sleeve like he did for most of the season after that and after that, I'm sorry, but you've got to go. And the attitude he had was, it's toxic. You had to get rid of it.
Yeah, and look where we are now.
Oh,
and
exactly.
1-0
Look where we are. Look where we
1-0
are.
to the Arsenal at the bridge. Who was your guys' man of the match? Who stood out
For me, it's
you?
going to be
Thomas
Thomas
Partey.
Partey. The thing is, like, that's
He's slowly
that's-
becoming pivot. Well, he is.
No, but
He is.
for the
But
past 3 years,
Name a better midfielder than him in Prem.
defensive midfielder.
Defense, well, fucking any midfielder for that matter.
But I still think
No,
that's the key
seriously.
point. That's the key point. The only game we've lost, he hasn't been in the team. So the thing is,
Yeah,
then you've got to
exactly.
highlight who is his backup. So you got to
Lokonga,
look.
he's not good
I mean, we
enough.
got Lokonga, we got El Neni.
he's too young.
Lokonga's an 8. He's not a 6. El Neni is not championed. Even Champions League qualifying player. I mean, he's
Listen,
a good,
El Neni is the best Egyptian in history. Like, we can just end it off right there.
Yes, he is.
Of course, bro.
But the thing
of
is, we
course.
need that. We need that depth. And the one player I think we have to try and go for is Sangare. I know he signed a new contract in the summer, but if we can push to get a player like him,
that Gumares
he's-
guy would have been a good signing.
Gumares,
For a lot of money, but
I've heard we're also being linked with what's that guy's name from Ajax?
I don't know.
I can't remember his name. Their defensive midfielder. He looks a decent little player, but I want a someone like Partey, someone who's strong on the ball. First and foremost, defensively, that's what you've got to get solid. someone who's going to win the header, someone who's strong, who's going to get into the tackles. If he can't, it's difficult to say we want a Partey complete replacement. We're not going to get him because they want to play week in, week out. You need someone at least who's defensively solid.
And at least pairs with Xhaka well. I feel that's a big thing because, if you can't really pair with Xhaka well, you're not going to get the best out of Xhaka as well.
But that's the thing is, Xhaka is getting that freedom to go forward. And the thing is, that's now an extra man we're getting forward. Previously, we played with that double pivot where Xhaka would sit with Partey. The thing is, Partey, I think, seriously, in the league, he's one of the most underrated players in the league. For me, he's our Achilles heel. If he goes, then we fall apart. We fall apart when he's not there. So at the end of the day, we need Thomas Partey fit for the whole season. It's like the same thing when we had Van Persie, when we had to nurse him. He was the only reason we were winning games at stages. We need to keep Thomas Partey fit, and we need to get proper depth for him as well. I mean, with Van Persie, at least we brought Eduardo in. He could sort of come in for a bit, and then we brought Giroud and Podolski in after that. And I mean, they were all right, but you need that pivotal player who's going to at least be somewhat of a shadow of Partey.
And then finally, as we end off, so back at the top after this win, we got Wolves coming up, going into the break, World Cup break, and then coming in the end of December. You guys got that little feeling? Small feeling?
As an Arsenal fan, you have to have it. So the thing for me is, last season I said from the beginning, I just want a top 6 finish. We were in the top 4. I said, I don't care, I want a top 6 finish. This season, it's just a top 4 finish. And we're on track for that. We can't start aiming to challenge City. Because the thing is, you can do it for 13 games, but can you do it for 38? That's the question you always have to ask.
Look at our depth.
And depth, that's going to come into play. Then we have the Europa League. Then we have the FA Cup. How seriously are we going to take these competitions? That's the thing we've got to actually ask. Woo. Come on, clear.
Watching the United game as we interview.
2-0. But no, so we need to be able to do this for 38 games. And that's the problem I think we're not going to be able to. Realistically, I'd love to be proven wrong. I'd love someone to come and rub this in my face later. Really, I would. But the thing is, we need
it's on record,
someone must come rub it in my face. But the thing is, we absolutely need to keep this up. And can we keep it up for 38 games? I don't know. We can't keep it up like City can. City can switch and replace.
And they have the experience too,
I mean, the fact that we've got
3-4 years.
The whole thing you got to think is Jesus wasn't playing that many games for City. Zinchenko wasn't playing that many games for City. Sterling wasn't playing that many games for City. And they're the main men now for other teams challenging for the top 4. That must be the biggest indication for you that, look here, this is a dangerous side that Man City is. This is a 2-3 year job to try and beat them now, especially with Liverpool slipping. There's not really anyone, I know we top the league,
with the pace,
but they are far and ahead. But the thing is, they are far and ahead the best team in the Premier League.
Bro, they were named the best team by FIFA last year, and then they got Haaland afterwards. Bro, fuck off, man.
So how are you feeling? Do you have the feeling?
Look, at this point, I'm like, bro, it's 13 games in. I'm fucking happy to shove it in every United fan's face because fuck United, son. But like at the same time, it's just like, bro, look at City. Like the thing is, I think if they fuck up and we manage to get more squad depth in Jan, I think there might be. Actually, no, I'm not even going to say it. I don't know if there's going to be a chance. I think it'll probably be like one of those Leicester seasons where, holy shit, Leicester have won the league. Like, that's how we win the league.
We need a proper January, that's the thing.
True, and we need...
Our objectives have actually changed. That's what Arteta needs to look at. Are we looking at top 4 or are we looking at winning the league?
No, but that's the thing.
And that changes the January chance to win it completely because now that changes the players we can go after. But we're going to spend. We're going to have to spend to get the proper players in.
But the thing is, look at us in 1 to 2 years' time. We'll have if we manage to retain the players that we currently have...
again, in my fantasy league as well.
Hey. No, but if we manage to retain the players that we currently have, bro, we still got the youngest team in Prem. Do people forget that? Imagine when these guys mature under Arteta, who's also maturing as a manager. Bro, it's game over. I think in 2 years' time we'll be winning the league.
Comfortably,
I think so.
And a big thing I must say is we didn't even have Tomiyasu in. I actually personally would have rather had Tomiyasu at left back. I think Zinchenko was a bit too quick to rush him back in. I mean, he hasn't played for a bit, and I mean, to bring him into a big game like this, I mean, he wasn't bad. I'm not going to come here and say he played terribly, but I mean, especially when you go 1-0 up, that's when you're trying to say, well, you need a Tomiyasu or a
Zinchenko can't do shit on defense for us these days compared to Tomiyasu. It's a fact.
But I think it was mostly because they were going to sit back and not threaten us.
Yeah, but you know what the problem was? Zinchenko is supposed to be the guy who's going to give us that option going forward. Bro, like fucking Ben White was more of an option today than Zinchenko going forward.
Shame.
No, fair enough. Zinchenko's coming up, and the thing is, don't say anything bad about him. I'm not saying anything bad. I'm saying he needs a bit more of that time just to get back
match
into
fitness
things.
is important.
And I rate him. I
Especially
think
at the level we
he's
play
our
at.
starting left back. He gives Partey. That's the reason why Xhaka can push forward, is because Zinchenko's dropping in, supporting Partey. That's the only reason. So it's a difficult job what Ben White and Zinchenko are doing, but the fact that we've got so much depth.
Oh,
and the thing is,
in defense,
and the whole thing is, you think next season, like some of the players who are coming back, who should be getting a look in. There's Norton Cuffy, who's coming back. He's at Rotherham. We've got Balogun coming back next season. We've got Charlie Patino coming back. I mean, I'm not saying these are players who are going to jump into the first team, but these are players that are going to have an influence in the league, at least for those last few minutes, last 10, 20 minutes.
That's true, but we can enjoy the weekend as 1-0 winners
sir.
at the plate.
Absolutely.
Top of the table. I got the
100%.
Goon Squad, Dewey and Jono here. It's me, Keish. It's Goon Squad SA.
Yes, sir.